Tonight we party, my friends.
Sip on mezcal, I like tequila, damn this shit tasty.
Fuck!
Yeah, you know that I made about $1 million off a pink beanie.
Son of a...
I feel like my life is a movie, damn this too easy.
Why?
Can't catch me, I'm jumping the borders, hit the embassy. It's bag or die.
Welcome back to another video of Pirate Simulator, a game where boats can be cars and mermaids have pronouns. Hey, that's a whole dude. What the fuck? In the last video, we were able to get ourselves a little shitbox sloop and got it decked out like a 20-year-old who has the personality equivalent of a Honda Civic. Not much to it, and a lot of bright. But now we're moving on to the brigantine. And after last month's super grind, we actually have more than enough money left over to buy a brig, but seeing as I'm a prideful man and someone who craves attention more than the average person should, I said to myself, not good enough. You fucking piece of shit. As well as I want to explore more of what Sea of Thieves had to offer and really immerse myself into the world of the game and experience the trueness that the game actually offers. And what better way to do that than by getting absolutely shit. Tall tales. We're up. We're gonna do some tall tales. And not just some. No. We're going to do all of them. Every single one.
Fucking gay. Oh, nice. Break Allah Akbar.
As of writing, there are 19 different tall tale stories within the game, with the most recent being Legend of Monkey Island, released in 2023. Today we're going to be soloing every single one except the pirate stories because I have something very special planned for those ones. And to top it all off, I made a tier list. Yeah, I plan to rank every single tall tale with very fitting titles and tiers, from God's Piss to Harambe Shit. F to S. Absolutely hot to totally not. God, I fucking hate myself. And I know what you're all going to be thinking. Who am I to say what a good narrative is? Have I ever written a story? Have I ever made dialogue? Have I ever made a narrative in a story of itself? Can I even read? First of all, no, I can't read. I'm not even reading my own script right now. I'm actually reading what ChatGPT had made up for me just a little bit ago.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues.
And secondly, you'd be right to ask those things. And since I have the literature education of a fucking tree, we're going to simplify it down to a base criteria to help us out. Now, there's millions of different opinions and thoughts on what makes a good story. Just ask Reddit. From compelling plots to vivid settings, story arcs, Chekhov's guns, character gender, hourly wage, social security, what the fuck? In all seriousness, there's so many different factors that are applied to what makes a good story a good story. But for the sake of being simple, we're going to narrow it down to three things: incentive, conflict, and theme. Essentially, with incentive, we're looking for a reason to even start the journey. Why would I do it if I don't care? It's like enlisting into the army or doing taxes. We don't do them because we want to. We do them so we don't get Elvis Presley or Al Capone in 2025. Why don't you pay taxes? Who the fuck is taxes? Such a fucking dumb joke. We need a reason to start. Moving on with conflict. You can't have a hero without conflict. And yes, I know in the literature world you can definitely have a hero without actual conflict per se. But this isn't Shakespeare. This is a game where you run around like Seamus Levine in Family Guy and fight a thugged up TRT-ridden baby shark. We need to have a clear antagonist, clear vision of who the bad guy is. And finally, theme. What is the theme of our story? What is the message? What is it teaching us? Is it teaching us anything at all? Is it just a simple set of series of anthology stories just to show us something cool? Is it a simulation? Why are we even here? You get the idea. And before anyone else can say it, this is a completely subjective list, meaning it's my opinion, it's my take, it's my taste. Just remember that before you start sprinting and storming to the comments like it's January 6th in Washington, D.C. But with that, grab your snacks and drinks. Sit back, relax, grab a drink maybe a snack too, and let's find out what it means to be a pirate in Sea of Thieves. Well, that took a while. Yes, I know. Some of you are going to be speeding to the comments and being like, hey, why does it take so long? It's only Tall Tales. And to that, I say nothing. I got nothing. It was ass. That's all I have to tell you. But anyway, you've all waited long enough, so let's get right into it. To kick it all off, we're going to start where all great things do. Right at the beginning. And going into this challenge, I thought it was going to be pretty quick and easy. Boy, was I wrong. Not only did I underestimate the amount of time this challenge would take, but also how mentally taxing it would be on me. I hear the waves in my sleep. To keep it blunt, it fucking sucked. From the game crashing to annoying deaths to just getting stuck or lost in any part of the map, this game definitely put me through the ringer. My fucking game crashed! Oh my god! That's not to say this undertaking didn't have a massive payout, because not only did I truly get to play and learn this game, at least a good part of it, I also got to see this game evolve and grow into something so beautiful and something more than I ever anticipated it to be. Sea of Thieves is a very popular game, no doubt, but a game that avidly pushes you to explore, dive headfirst into PvP, and use at least 10% of your brain power. 100% if you're me. This game has all the ingredients and fine-tuned functions to be a game that lasts for years to come. But where I think this game shines the most is its storytelling. Not only is it unique with its set pieces, puzzles, and locations, but it fully embraces the fairy tale aspect it has going for it. It's almost as if all the characters were completely self-aware to being in a game, and they fully play into it.
Time for some more grog. Grog, 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 grog.
They take the idea of a pirate, add the stereotypical caricature to it, and then they crank it to 11.
These go to 11.
We'll see this the most in The Legend of Monkey Island, but we'll get to that later. But the way we're going to do this is that we're going to rank each individual episode based on their gameplay and replayability, as well as the nuggets of information we get about the story along the way. And at the end, we'll rank the entire story as from a narrative standpoint. The reason for this is because after playing Shores of Gold to Monkey Island, I realized very quickly that most of it, if not all the individual episodes, mostly in Shores of Gold, won't hold up under that kind of scrutiny. So we're going to go in order from what I believe is worst to best. That order being Ashen Age, second best being The Legend of Monkey Island, and finally leading into The Shores of Gold. Again, I just like to remind everybody that this is completely subjective and it's my opinion. So if you don't like that, hey, feel free to let me know how you feel in the comments. I probably won't read it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to cry when I read it. That's too damn bad! But personally, I feel like if these stories are done in order of their release, it simply weakens all of them. Looking at Ashen Age and Monkey Island, as much as you are involved in the story, it's not about you. You are helping other people in their stories, and you're nothing but a convenient pivotal plot point to push their narrative to complete its third act. Ashen Age was a less powerful story, mostly because it's incomplete, and not because it doesn't have a resolution, because it does. A pirate lord named Flameheart gets freed, and that explains the entire existence of the Devil's Roar or the Reapers and the justification for their presence entirely. It's essentially a way to say, hey, here's new shit. So both of these stories are going to be put in D tier. And it's not because they're bad, it's because they're solely used as tools to introduce new gameplay, which honestly would have been just set up better by using dialogue or some other form of medium like a little cutscene rather than trying to show it in an interesting way. Though I gotta admit, learning the fate of Pendragon's crew and attempting to save their souls and accidentally freeing Flameheart is a pretty interesting plot twist. And honestly, it would have just been good and hit harder if it just been left at that. But right after this, you immediately go and save his crew and they get their happy ending, and it's like, you left with a sense of, okay. It definitely doesn't help because the story in Ashen Age is not even like an actual story per se. You just kind of get the premise when you start it of bad guy bad, good guy good, and that's kind of what you get. But like I said before, these are ranked from worst to best, and this is why this one's on the bottom. But it will get better as we move forward on to The Legend of Monkey Island. I have a love-hate relationship with this story, not because of a personal dislike or what the IP is they're partnering with, or even because it's a weaker storyline. It's only and solely because of the amount of mindless running around monotonous tasks you have to do. It is really over the top and unnecessary. You go and do these crazy amount of tasks, like you pay for a doll by getting these 60 coins, but the 60 coins are so... And if I'm being completely transparent, I don't think I'd be able to do this story without using a guide. And that's not to say I hate the idea of having to think outside the box, because honestly, I love that, especially knowing that it's coming from a different pirate game IP where you need to use your brain and think a little more outside the box. It's The Legend of Monkey Island in The Legend of Monkey Island in Sea of Thieves. But the problem, more or less, is the execution of that idea. Take the coin system that they implement as an example. It's a one-off system used only in the first episode of the story. Right after you dock, you'll notice these boxes you can interact with. After opening the lid, you'll see a coin you can collect. These are called Pieces 08. This is a unique currency used only on Melee Island, which I find this to be super cool and interesting because the Pieces 08 is a historical reference to the actual currency used among pirates called Pieces of 8 during the Golden Age of Pirates, which, if you didn't know, was a very long time ago. But the problem I have with this is that all the coins are spread around and hidden in areas that are easily missable. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's the whole point. You're supposed to go look around and explore the island and find these little coins everywhere. And to that, I say you're right, but that in itself is exhausting. There is no warning about it. There is no tell-all hint that comes about before you get there and you're like, oh, okay, I get the impression that we're going to be looking for a lot of stuff around here. Some of you might say, well,
it's tied to Monkey Island, so you should expect it.
And my counter to that would be, well, I never played Monkey Island separately, or at all, actually. There is no warning, there is no tell-all hint. It's just kind of there, and it's implemented, and although it's quite creative and unique, it does not change how mentally exhausting it is to have to do it. I'd even say it's safe to assume that most people on their first playthrough of this will eventually get to a point where they have to turn to a guide. But turning sides and looking at the other side of the coin here, I do gotta give credit where credit is due. This island is a spectacle. It really is a beautiful place, and honestly, take a look for yourself. Now, to give context to the story, at any of the outposts, we meet a Captain Capsize who tells us she needs our help to find someone on Melee Island.
Not unless you think you're tough enough to track down the man I'm hunting. Everything I know is in that logbook.
That guy being Guybrush Threepwood. This dude. Yeah, he looks pretty gay. She says she'd do it herself, but she can't afford a boat, and right now she's stuck on land selling tours in the meantime.
I'd find him myself if I had the money to get back on the waves. But for now, I'm just another landlubber selling tours.
Simply put, she needs our help. During this conversation, we get to see a familiar face make an appearance and give us a bit more exposition.
I see you've already settled in and started making friends.
I don't want friends. What I want is someone willing to drag that pirate pretender back to reality. Then he can have a long and meaningful conversation with the sole of my boot.
Now, to quickly summarize what's happened so far, we're here in search of Guybrush Threepwood. He and his newlywed wife, Elaine, were on their way to the Sea of Thieves for their honeymoon, but something happened to the couple while they were in transit on the Sea of the Damned. If you didn't know, the Sea of the Damned is the place that the ferryman hangs out, and when you die, you gotta go there and be like, yo, bro, I'm dead. And then that's kind of it. After this back and forth, we get sent on our way. And the reason we're able to travel through here is because, as you saw, our loving pirate lord is able to open a gateway using the arches near all the outposts to let us travel through while still alive. So we could pop in and be like, hey, necrophilia, oh god. So once we anchor, we start exploring and start finishing tasks. And we start to see that things around here are different. Almost as if nobody is really themselves. It is a unique take on what's going on in the island, but we'll have it all revealed as we progress through the story. I told you, they kind of look all like these pirates are pirating, you know? So after doing shit that is essentially equates to being a crew member in an Among Us lobby, we finally make it to Guybrush's mansion, and he's,
Look, Lutikins, we have company. They must want to hear all about your courageous deeds. Oh, but honey pumpkin, I'm busy with my memoirs. I can't be disturbed or I'll miss my deadline.
So, yeah, he's in full delirium. We shortly have this verified by our main antagonist of the entire story, the man himself, LeChuck. Sorry.
Well, well, what have we here? An unwanted intrusion into my masterful delusion.
So LeChuck 100% has Guybrush in like a trance-like state, and we need to free him. But right now, we need to kill the skeletons that LeChuck has sent after us, and we need to make it back into town. After reaching town, a door opens up in one of the shops, and inside we can see a cauldron rising from the ground, and a woman appears.
Thanks to you, LeChuck has withdrawn, and Root Beer has rid this place of his evil influence. The power of Mojo can return at last.
I fucking wish it was that easy. Just poof, hey. The woman's name is Corinna, and she is a voodoo priestess, and she says she'll be able to help us free Guybrush from his illusion, but it'll take time to prepare.
But it will take time to prepare.
See? I told you. And that's the end of the first episode. And as much of a headache as it was, and despite its flaws that make you want to rip your hair out, looking at you fucking coins, it's A-tier worthy. The next two... not so much. There are a lot of remedial tasks that have to be done in these next two to get any sort of story. We're going to skip what the tasks are because if I'm being completely honest, there were so much more inconveniencing and annoying to me than cool or interesting. Hate me if you want. There's my video. We're going to get it out of the way now. The next two are C and B tier. Quest for Guybrush is C, Lair of LeChuck is B. Reason being is that they both follow very similar formulas of doing a lot of random out-of-pocket things to attain a goal. Which some might say, that's the point. I say, it's exhausting. This is a very exhausting tall tale. I'm so tired of this game. They both have tasks that require you to run around the islands, both being Melee Island and Monkey Island respectively. They both have singular spectacle moments, that being when the fog is lifted on Melee Island and when you're battling LeChuck in the lava caves underground. Aside from that, the story doesn't really get pushed until the end of each episode, which is fine, except you have nothing to go on until you're done. And with each episode being about an hour and a half to 3 hours long to complete, it really takes you out of it and leaves you feeling burnt out by the end. So much so that when I completed the entire story, I was just so done. I wanted to be done. I was exhausted. I didn't care anymore. But to run through it, you make a potion that you put in the fire at the highest peak of the island to lift the fog, and then you search for 3 idols that you give to Corinna that she uses in her cauldron to brew a potion that gives Guybrush the ability to see past and get out of his mind.
I think the truth is gonna make me...
After he's aware of the situation, you then take the fight to LeChuck at the famous Monkey Island. Once you arrive there, you do the most tedious bullshit to get 3 more idols to get a giant fucking Q-tip to put it in a statue monkey ear. I'm not making this up.
I think it's time. Take the key and do as nature intended. All that waxy buildup can be a little awkward. Sometimes it helps to jiggle it about a bit.
Then you go find LeChuck in his lair and chase him through caves filled with lava while you literally ghost ride the whip to then get teleported back to Melee Island to duke it out with him one-on-one in a fucking insult battle. Yes, I intentionally did not tell you about this mechanic because as interesting as it could have been, it was not. The idea that the sword fights in this game were based around who can say whose mom was fatter really took me out of the entire thing. To be simple, it's the single most stupid fucking thing in this entire storyline. It's so bad, trash garbage, seek God, please do not do it again. But at least we can have silver linings because we have one final story to tell. The story that I connect the most with. And after the last 2 stories, I was losing hope fast. But even with the flaws, this story made me come to love Sea of Thieves. So let's finish this story with one more, and let's take a look at the Shores of Gold. You can start this tale, or any of the tales for that matter, from your desk in your captain's quarters on your ship and the menu shown on screen. If you choose to dive to the location, it will take you to the nearest outpost. If not, then just sail to one. After anchoring your boat, head to the tavern and you'll see a guy in the back who totally doesn't look like he wants to sell you illegal substances. He starts off by warning you of how dangerous and grueling the voyage is, and after yapping his jaws off, he gives you a quest book and sends you on your way to find an idol called the Shroudbreaker. Imagine a blinged out jewelry piece that protects you from evil bloodwater. Don't worry, we'll get there. He sends you off to travel to whichever island the quest gives you to find a sunken boat with more directions to lead you to another island to then dig up some medallions to use in a fountain pool dish thing, I don't know, to retrieve the famous Shroud Breaker, but it's missing some jewels. Honestly, the thing looks like an estranged relative we all have that only communicates solely by screaming.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Just absolutely cursed. But after you get the idol, you return to the nearest outpost and give him the idol, where he'll then simp over it like it's selling bathwater, or give it that spit on that pang!
But to actually hold the Shroud Breaker in my hands, I never thought I'd see the day.
Anyway, he goes on to tell you about a cursed pirate lord by the name of Briggsy and how she made it to the shores of gold.
I did hear tell that Captain Briggsy made it to the shores of gold. If that's true, she might know the whereabouts of these missing stones. Not that she'd ever say. Sometimes, even the best pirates fall victim to their greed or hatred, and it changes them, strips the flesh from their bones, gives them power, but twists them up inside. Briggsy is one such abomination.
So yeah, shit's kind of fucking spooky. So the last bit of information he leaves us with is to head to Plunder Island and meet with Madame Olivia, thus concluding the first episode. We're starting off positive, did enjoy, 7 out of 10, would do it again, B tier. And real quick before we move on, I'm just letting you know that I'm not going to be taking nearly as much time to explain the rest of these as I did the first one because, well, there's a lot of them. So we raise anchor and sail to Plunder Island to meet with the so-called Madame Madame Olivia. The movie fucking sucks. Once we arrive at the island, we can find her in a dope-ass mystical hut where she'll start talking to us.
I am Madame Olivia of the Order of Souls, and your arrival was foretold to me. As was your quest to seek out and destroy the abomination once known as Briggsy. As you may know, the Order offers bounties for the skulls of those undead wretches that roam the Sea of Thieves. Yet even I am not permitted to send pirates in pursuit of a skeleton lord, for that would be sending them to oblivion.
And she'll give us a quest book. There's a lot of books, so many that even the never-ending story would probably get a silver medal at a Scholastic book fair compared to this game. Man, so many of you won't get that reference. Anyway, moving on. After we get the quest book and after pondering what bullshit any of this says, you'll have to do a glorified fetch quest to find a piece of map and a spyglass and run that shit all the way back to Plunder Island to have a majestic mystic mommy. I need to go outside more. Turn some shit into the compass from Pirates of the Caribbean and go find that skeletal hoe Briggsy. There's a lot of this in these tall tales. After dialing back in, it's now time to go on the hunt. Following the compass leads you to an island where you can find her, and after defeating her by showing her your rank on Jerkmate, you can take her skull back to Madame Olivia one final time and learn vitally important information. Damn, she took the soul out that bitch! Turns out she got a black belt in meat goblin. I'm just kidding, she did actually have important stuff to say.
Skull of a skeleton lord. Oh, I've waited years for this moment. So few people stop to wonder what the Order of Souls does with the bounties once we have them. Each skull holds many secrets, memories of old hordes and old encounters long forgotten. If Briggsy truly did possess the Shroud Breaker, the missing pieces should lie somewhere within her recollection. But be warned, such visions are not always easy to interpret. Such a long life. There are many memories to sift through, but I can make out a few names. Tasha, a girl in a tavern, staring in awe as the firelight flickers and great tales are told. Suds, a dear friend who threads his way across the wildest oceans by the light of the stars. Salty, trembling before a blade, revealing the lair of a trickster. Wild Rose, true love shining like a beacon that calls across the waves. Fate has bound you to meet with these wanderers, for they alone know of the precious stones you seek.
Oh yeah, baby, we got an Ocean's 11 this shit, let's go! Good soup, A tier. Okay, these next 4 tall tales are like nothing but fetch quests with a semblance of gathering a team that does nothing but holds pretty stones for you and says, I got you, homie! So we're gonna sprint through these like a bunch of crackheads. So hold on to your foreskin, it's Zoomer time.
3, 2, 1, go!
Go to H-Aspire Outpost, talk to Tasha, get Briggsy's book, go find a chest that needs 2 keys. Oh, for fuck's sake! Find the motherfucker from Ed, Edd, and Eddy, line his shit up and find a crown that has a stone, zoom your shit back to Tasha, watch her have a mental breakdown and finish the quest. Go to the North Star Sea Post, find her dead grandpa Suds, listen to him tell you how he hates all the minorities, go find an enchanted spyglass, go to the location on the map between jack shit and fuck off, get lucky enough to find the totem there, if not, fuck you. Do the combination, get another stone, sail back to Suds and think about how you have to do this 2 more times. Fucking bullshit. Go to Sanctuary Outpost, talk to this bitch? Oh, go fuck yourself! Go find a chest of memories, travel to 2 different islands because the boat dealership said I get good gas mileage, and find these 2 fucking things, run it back to Madame Olive Garden, get the magic compass, I still can't find my dad, and then for these 2 pieces of a necklace, son of a bitch! Kill the walking remains of O.J. Simpson, watch her discover her first period, then go find Salty, who's a bird, fucking bird, Go to a cave in Plunder Valley and desecrate some corpses. Go to another island to use a spyglass, do 3 riddles, go to wherever the fuck it wants you to go, dodge a booby trap, fuck this guy's skull, take the totem, fight these dudes for 25 minutes! What the fuck? Get the stone and bring it back to Big Bird's disabled cousin. At this point, I don't even know anymore. D tier, they all suck. I fucking hate this game. Moving on to the final setups, we have the Fate of the Morningstar. This one and the Tall Tale following actually are really interesting, as to my understanding, it follows the story of the last ship who sought after the shores of gold, so that's pretty cool. But to start it off, you actually speak to the ferryman, which I thought was really neat, and he sends you off to the Marauder Arch to find an enchanted lantern. Once you have that, you sail over to the Old Faithful Isle, where you use the lantern to actually see the ghosts and be able to follow them where they go. You follow the ghosts, and they lead you to locations of some keys and chests to which you have to release their souls from said chests, to which you then die again to speak to the ferryman once more, in which he informs you of another pirate lord named Grey Marrow.
The evil behind these binding curses is a powerful skeleton lord named Grey Marrow, who seeks to claim the shores of gold for himself. He binds those who oppose him so that they may never return aboard my ferry and avenge themselves upon him. To find this Grey Marrow, speak with the shipwright Daggertooth. She knows the whereabouts of the Morning Star and holds secrets.
All in all, it's a pretty cool quest given that at the time of its release, it implemented new mechanics and made use of the ferryman who prior just sat there. And I'm always down for new shit, so... C tier. It was still a lot of unnecessary running around. But to keep the train rolling, there's the Revenge of the Morningstar. This is essentially the spiritual revenge of Grey Marrow's crew, because we learned in the previous episode that he betrayed them all. He gave him the old Suge Knight. You start by going to Daggertooth and speaking to the quartermaster Sandra. She tells you she's heard stories of a sole survivor from when Grey Marrow betrayed his crew.
All I was able to scavenge was the captain's final message. From what he says, it seems there was only one survivor, and no one's seen them in years.
She gives you a quest book with directions that lead you to Boulder Cay. Here you'll find a shipwreck in the water that has 3 notes which make a page in your book, which then directs you to a location where a chest is buried holding a Morningstar crew outfit. You then put on the outfit and go to the good old Sanctuary Outpost and walk in the tavern disguised as a Morningstar crew member. You speak to the bartender and she'll direct you to Cannon Cove to kill a skelly captain and get pages from him that has a puzzle. Then you have to find a Captain Douglas's skull buried in some shit, then go to Sunken Grove to kill another skelly captain to get more pages to do another puzzle. Fuck me, this is getting repetitive. Which then leads us to find a dope-ass chalice which we use at a ritual table to bring Grey Marrow back to life.
Disturb my slumber. Your uniform. You're one of Slate's crew. I thought I'd found you pitiful wretches and left you to rot. That curse should be unbreakable. That means you must be an imposter.
So then we can run him for his J's. Oh, and to give another fucking stone to Sandra! Fuck! Also, you find out she was actually the last surviving crew member of the Morningstar, but she was just in hiding the whole time.
Is it true? Did you really destroy Grey Marrow? Am I finally free of him? You have no idea how good it feels to hear that. The truth is, I went back to the Morning Star out of guilt, not out of greed. I was Jill, the one who jumped overboard rather than face Greymarrow. After that, I gave up my name and my old life to hide from him. I tell everyone I'm building a ship to fight a Kraken. But the truth is, it's so I could escape if he ever found me again. Still, I always wondered, could I have made a difference if I'd stayed and fought alongside the others?
Fuck you, M. Night Shyamalan. I don't care anymore. And that's not to say the fight with Greymarrow is a walk in the park either. If anything, it just takes a long time to kill him. He has a pistol for ranged attacks, which are relatively easy to dodge, and he also summons small groups of skellies to fight you in either sword or blunderbuss fashion. But his ground pound attack, where he slams two chests together, because why the fuck not, which launches you into a different zip code just because his game doesn't abide by the laws of physics, and also go fuck yourself. A tier.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
With that brings a close to the second to last episode, and now we can dive into the final finale. These Shores of Gold. Eight episodes is a lot of build-up. And even though a lot of them, if not all of them, are similar in style or even just based from the same formula, they all add a small pinch of something we haven't talked about yet, and that is suspense. You've probably experienced suspense in your life in many different ways, either through real-world events, film, or other mediums that make the bubble in your throat fill up or cause your chest to rise. But for a minute, I want to talk about suspense in this story. I spent the last 7 to 12 hours, depending on how I was playing that day, slogging and diligently pushing through these episodes. One after the other, you could feel the occasion getting closer to the end, but there kept being one more step. From killing Briggsy, to collecting the stones, to finding the sole remaining crew member of a lost ship, to even defeating the true Dark Pirate Lord. Each episode has served a purpose. It has pushed us further down a path to laying our eyes on the shores of gold. But with suspense, there has to be a release. And sometimes the thing we're searching for to give that release isn't actually what we need for the release. One thing I noticed while playing all of these stories was the music. With every rising moment, sometimes literally, to every completed episode, we get a small tune of triumphant music. Now, it's not uncommon for the average game to do this. I mean, we've seen it in huge games like GTA 5 or Call of Duty. You get a little "you did it" tune at the end, signifying completing your mission.
Cuba.
But Sea of Thieves pulls something on you that maybe the average players wouldn't catch on to. After speaking with Grace at Morrow's Peak Outpost and dropping sails northeast, we start making our way to the Shores of Gold. You'll notice to the left of your wheel there is the Shroudbreaker idol, fully rebuilt with all the stones intact. Though as of right now, it seems to be more like a fancy paperweight as it has no use for its power yet. As we start pushing past the boundary of the edge of the map, you'll notice the water starting to change color. The vibrant saltwater blue starts to shift into an ominous dark red, and red protective aura starts emanating from the idol, and soon stretching to the front of your ship, serving as a protective barrier from the seemingly dangerous water only a few steps away. And almost within seconds, it'll be altered, and you'll see the ocean is no more, and has completely transformed into a blood-like color. This is the Red Sea. The sounds that play are eerie, almost as if they're trying to instill in your head that there is no going back. That despite all you have done for the others to reach where you are now, you are, in this moment, what you were always meant to be. Lost. Isolated. Alone. This moment is where I believe the suspense is at its peak. There is truly a sense of unease when you were here. To me, it felt reminiscent of the environments created in games like Silent Hill or Resident Evil 7. And just when you start to settle into that feeling, or cave of exhaustion from it, you start to hear a tonal shift in music. Brass horns start to fade in, almost similar to when you had a moment of triumph. But this time, it's different. Darker. Almost as if the game is trying to say, you made it here, but you'll wish you hadn't. This kind of emotional payoff to be given from a game where you can launch your pets out of a cannon, this is beauty to me. Or as Michael Fassbender would put it,
Perfection.
we roll into shore and anchor our boat and set foot on the beach. We take in the landscape and we stare in awe. We've made it. We have reached the shores of gold. After settling into the environment, we reset our minds to get back on track. We've made it to the shore. Now we have to find the gold. That's why we're here, right? I won't lie. At the time of recording this finale, it was super late, so I had to have help from a guide. Actually, there was a couple of these throughout the challenge I needed help with. Don't judge me! But essentially, you have to go to these vaults that are on the island that each have a slightly different thing or combination in them as to not be a rinse and repeat type of thing. Kind of whack, but I'll allow it. Each one of these vaults has a medallion that you have to place in an altar on the island, which then unlocks a hidden storage spot housing the gold hoarder coin. Then you have to bring said coin to a coin slot in a door, which then opens a catacomb door leading underground. After traversing through different areas and evading traps and skellies, you finally reach a drawbridge. After lowering the bridge, you can see at the end of the corridor is it. The house of the gold hoarder, protected by none other than the gold hoarder himself. It's all led to here. It's all come to a head with a legendary pirate versus a legendary pirate lord. As you enter, you hear the door close behind you, locking you in the room, locking you in the belly of the beast, with the beast himself. This fight is quite similar to Grey Marrow, except you're within a room rather than on an island, but it's mostly the same fighting tactics. And just like Grey Marrow, the fight itself is easy, it's just quite time consuming, which ultimately left me feeling disappointed. After I defeated the gold hoarder, I was left thinking to myself, that was it? All the build up for that? All these stories had such a big impression on me to the point that I got lost in their worlds and enamored in their environments and even ranked them internally before I ever thought of doing this video. And for this specific story to have what I believe to be the biggest payoff to be leading to something so disappointing, I was very hesitant to give it an S rating. But I still did. But then I thought about it for a minute and turned my pride off and remembered something. Something I had started to forget as I progressed further into this challenge. And, well, I'll let her favorite pirate lord say
it. Now this is what I like to see. A grand adventure, a fight to the death, and a great big pile of treasure. You'll have quite the tall tale to tell once you make it home. The trouble with being the pirate lord is that everybody tries to follow in your footsteps. Briggsy, Grey Marrow, the crew of the Morning Star. Why, I ask you? This place, this Sea of Thieves, is bigger and stranger than any of us know. I reckon you've learned as much, or you wouldn't be standing here. There'll always be new stories to tell, riches to plunder, and monsters to chill the blood of anyone brave enough to seek them out. As for the gold hoarder, I doubt we've seen the last of him. It's never that easy to scrub away the stain greed leaves behind. Still, I'm sure he'll think twice before picking a fight with you again. For now, I'd leave the treasure be. Its power has claimed the hearts of too many pirates already. That skull should fetch a pretty penny with the Order of Souls, however, if you're so inclined. Whatever you choose, take care not to linger, for the Shroud Breaker's power is nearly consumed. I'll have my envoy return it to its resting place, ready for some other crew to test their mettle. Perhaps we'll meet again over a grog or two. My door's always open to true pirate legends. Until then, farewell, and remember, it's not about the gold. It's about the glory.
Psych, bitch, it's not about the glory, it's all about the Mets, baby, let's go!
4 to 5 times I was left with a broken heart and built stress from my next, I was growing apart. Next bit so obsessive, I don't know where to start. And kept messaging my phone, I would sit in the dark and turn